So welcome everyone. Welcome to all the attendees joining us. We're glad to have you with us for this third round of one-slide pitches. We have exciting startups pitching for us today, as we have throughout the set week. I hope you were able to take in some of the other pitches. This session will be moderated by Felix Krause, highly experienced expert VC, who will be joining us here from Berlin as well. Where to even begin with about Felix? Felix is basically part of the SET family. He's a jury member. He's a pitch coach. He's oftentimes an advisor to us. Really, we appreciate working with him, and he's kind enough to join us to moderate this session, and we highly value his 2 cents towards this. So I'll give the stage to Felix.
Wow, Taha, I'm getting red. That's probably the best introduction I've ever received. Thank you very much. I hope I can comply with that, but it's not about me. It's about the startups. So I'm very much looking forward to the pitches that we will hear in the next couple of minutes. Just a reminder: please mute yourself if you are not speaking. And for the audience, double click on the screen with the slides on so that you can see the slides full screen. And also to the audience, we will have 3-minute pitches followed by 2 minutes Q&A. Due to the time, we do not allow for more questions, but it would be great if you could participate by asking your questions, doubts, thoughts, appraise, whatever, via the chat. So we will try to answer those questions raised in the chat in the order first come, first serve. With no further ado, Heather of Gilytics, I hope I pronounced it correct. I think Heather can correct me afterwards. And Gilytics helps utilities to actually digitalize and automate the planning of and below ground of power lines and pipelines with their software. Heather, the floor is yours.
Hi, so I'm a co-founder of Gilytics, and as already mentioned, we are revolutionizing infrastructure planning by making it easier to automate routing of power lines, pipelines, roadways, railways, saving our clients, including energy and engineering companies, time and money. So how does it actually work? I'll use a quick example. If I was lucky enough to be in Germany right now and I wanted to find the nearest Starbucks, I would go to my phone, get out Google Maps, and use the power of the latest satellite data and see how to get from point A to point B. I could also see exactly how much it's going to cost me and how much time it's going to take. But if I'm a big utility like Tenant, one of our clients, I'm sending people out into the field with lots of paper maps. So they are wasting years in the process and millions because projects are over time and over budget. We have saved them 6 months in the planning process through our SaaS solution. So how does it actually work? You can see here a short video that shows you exactly what the customer journey is like. This is from a client in Colombia. They have to build hundreds of kilometers of new power lines, and doing it often by sending out helicopters to find the best route. With our solution, in a few seconds, they can see exactly how to get from point A to point B. You can see here in the slides and in the video, if we click on the slide, exactly how to get from point A to point B, as well as in red, a risk map to better understand exactly where the issues are that you might need to address. You don't need to be a software engineer to use this. You can use it without any software experience. You just upload easily the latest spatial data on the cloud. You set the parameters for exactly what you need to measure in that project, which includes really up-to-date and relevant environmental information. All need much, much faster. Our solution has been proven with 7 years of research at the ETH in Zurich. We have 7 clients ranging from big utilities like Swissgrid, Tenant, to transport companies like SBB and engineering companies. We are looking for partners to join us, either as distribution partners to get more people to know about our product. to pilot our solution to revolutionize, for example, access to renewable energy. We know you can use it to site and place wind turbines, solar installations much, much faster. And we are also closing our seed round with a high-tech Wonder Fund. So get in touch if you'd like to join us. The time is really now for our product. We all know we need new infrastructure to accelerate decarbonization, and we also need jobs. And when we invest in infrastructure, we create jobs. So we invite you to join us to accelerate the energy transition. Thank you very much.
Heather, thank you very much. That was a great pitch. It was totally on time. Thank you very much for that. As Taha wrote, unfortunately, we weren't able to show the video, but Taha will try to show the video at the end of this sessions. For the audience, if you have questions to Heather, but also to the other startups, please write them into the chat. As we don't have any questions so far, a question from my side, you shared that you are having 7 utilities as a customer. Can you also share the kilometers of grid that they have actually monitored and built with your system?
Well, I think the most impressive data comes out of South America, where they built around 200, planning around 200 kilometers, because there are really big projects that are envisioned there. It can also work for shorter connections, which can be more complicated with DSOs like Expo, where you need to do maybe 1 kilometer to a substation, or maybe between 2 wind turbines. It can also be very effective for those shorter connections, which can be equally complex.
I was a solar developer at one point, and finding those short grid connections was always a trouble. We do have our first question. What are the expected savings for your clients?
So we have understood that it can save around 6 months in the planning process and around 10 to 20% of OpEx costs. But of course, it depends on the client, and we're trying to better quantify that. And then the CO2 savings can really be quite significant, because you can better understand what kind of equipment you need. Do you need to go above ground or use an earth cable? So it can really help you to reduce the emissions by several tons in some cases.
Well, thank you very much, Heather. I think I could at least continue asking questions, but due to time, we should continue with hydrogen. Robert, actually, Robert and I know each other we just discussed it in the beginning, more or less 3 years, have had various discussions, and I always love the interchange of the discussions with him. And Robert and his company are developing an original decentralized refueling solution for gas fuel powered vehicles. Robert, please.
Yeah, Felix, thank you very much. Always enjoying discussion with you. So I'll start off with a topic that everyone is familiar with, which is electric vehicles. And if we think about them and how we charge them, we kind of always think about decentralized way of doing that, which is home, office, and parking lot. And it has turned out to be a very successful way to actually go and solve the chicken and egg problem typically having when bringing the alternative vehicles to the market. Is it the station or the car? And if we look at other alternatives like gas mobility or G-mobility, as we are calling it, and by that I mean not only the natural gas, but also biomethane, synthetic gas, and hydrogen. So there, we're building these large stations of a centralized nature, and although we have some of those stations, at the end of the day, some for the end user really means none. So we in HYGEN, we believe that if we go and sort of replicate the way how the recharging infrastructure is being rolled out for e-mobility, but in G-mobility, we'll completely flip the market, reinvent it. And that's what we do in HYGEN. So we are bringing to the market this, as we are calling it, a supercharger for the G-mobility. So it's connected to the gas grid. It compresses the gas, it stores it, and it refuels the vehicle in a matter of 7 to 10 minutes, targeting specifically light commercial vehicles for that. The theme is nothing new. You know, it has been around for decades. A lot of companies have tried, like Eaton, General Electric, did not succeed. But the challenge has always been around this total cost of ownership of that small-scale gas compression equipment. And that's what HYGEN has solved. So we have effectively removed all the moving parts within the compressor itself, and we're using the liquid to compress the gas. And because of that, we have managed to reduce the total cost of ownership of that gas compression equipment to the point where compressed gas as a fuel has become 40% less expensive as the diesel. And you can refuel with that fuel your vehicles right at the spot of that small business fleet operating commercial vehicles. So obviously this has created a new market opportunity for the gas companies in the same way as electric vehicles have created that opportunity for electric companies. And we see that firsthand. You know, we're working with Gas Connect, just finished off the pilot project. Together with them and SEAT, we exhibited the product at Vienna Auto Show 2020, now completed the project with GRDF and NG, and now GRDF has become a first commercial customer ordering 4 units for their headquarters, where they will refuel their light commercial vehicles. So with all of that, we're now raising our seed extension round of 1 to 1.5 million to support our pre-production market rollout on one hand, and then on the other hand, since we know that this technology can be applied to hydrogen, also go and actually make some things happen in hydrogen. And yeah, that's where we are at. Thank you for that.
Thanks a lot for that, Robert. And you have already received the first question from Stephen. Can you see it, or shall I read it out? What's the easiest?
Actually, I do see. Me and Stephen, we know each other from a long time ago as well, so very well timed. So yeah, are you working on compressed gases hydrogen solutions? Yeah, we actually are. We have been selected as one of 8 companies in H2 Refuel Accelerator out of Boston. It took place in the second quarter and third quarter of 2019. It was funded by Shell and Toyota. And the reason why they took us is because the only hydrogen compressor that is really working well out there is Linde's ionic compressor, also based on a very similar technology as ours. And since that compressor is kind of solving very hard problem to solve in this compressed hydrogen space, we believe that we can, you know, be a very well competitor to that big corporate. So yeah, we're definitely working on that.
Yeah, good to see that you're also moving into the hydrogen market, and I really hope that you can ride this wave too. That would be great to see.
You're actually one of those who I blame that we do that, because out of our discussions, it's sort of your opinion has taken over.
Thank you for that. I hope it proves successful. Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve, for asking, and yeah, thanks a lot, Robert. The next startup would be Solar Earth Technologies, joining us from Canada. Michael, yes.
Sorry, Felix. Michael is having, we seem to have lost him, so we'll just save him for the last slide.
All right.
All right.
So we're moving back to Europe. That would be Klimate, Katja. And actually, this morning I got asked by a friend from the Netherlands who wants to compensate his CO2 footprint, and he asked me where he can A, calculate it in the best manner, and B, where to compensate it. So if he was now located in Denmark, I should have recommended him to you. Katja, explain us more, please.
Felix, and I hope you will going forward from today. I will give a brief introduction to sort of the burning platform for why we exist, and then also go through a business model. But I'm really just looking forward to questions, so feel free to just ping the questions you have to me, and we'll have time for that at the end. So we all know that global warming is the reality of today. In 2019, we surpassed the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere that is allowed to stay within the 1.5 degree temperature increase that we promised to stay within. And this means that we are no longer at that stage where we can just work with, for instance, offsetting CO2 or working with our own, changing our habits and supply chains, but we also need to remove CO2 from the atmosphere to reverse climate change and avoid the damage that is coming. And this is not only one of the most sort of important areas for our planet, but we also know and see that it's also one of the most promising business areas right now to work with removing carbon. Klimate provides a trustworthy marketplace, real-time certification, and a simple onboarding process for carbon removal services. We make the process of setting up the carbon removal services within soil sequestration and direct air capture easy and understandable, and support suppliers in setting up these initiatives and ensure that the required registration is in place. We are working towards improving our verification of the initiatives, so how we can sort of both, visually confirm the initiatives, but also that we avoid some of the issues that have been in the past for its offsetting, not neutralizing. So we provide real-time certification of services and then also a platform for selling carbon removal services. The marketplace that we have is for registered carbon removal of the companies that we work with and customers that are looking to become carbon neutral, either historically, current, or future. So we assist with calculations, communications, and selection of the right technology. We see that there is an increasing trend towards removing historic emissions, exactly like big companies like Microsoft and BCG, my former employers, are doing. And SMEs are also looking to do the same, but are not able to do it at the same scale. At Klimate, we already have our first pilot customers on board and are currently raising our pre-seed funds of around €500,000 to get to launch stage. We have the Danish Growth Fund with us in the pre-seed round, matching and gearing any private investments we raise. And we also have a dream team in place, 3 co-founders, Mads Miel, Nis Eik, and myself, and 2 employees on board. We are currently at MVP stage and moving towards launch and are searching for collaboration partners, advisors, and investors. And I would love to, get anybody interested on board. So please reach out to me.
Gotcha. Thank you very, very much. I hope that in the future I can redirect him to you. As we don't have a question from the audience yet, when I tell people that I offset my carbon footprint, I get the argument this is all greenwashing and this is not properly helping. Mm-hmm. What would you say to this argument?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely comes down to, I would say, you as a person, and Felix, if I would assume something about you, I don't know you, but I also think that you would be already caring a lot about the actions that you do every day and not traveling too much and thinking about how your impact is. So we can do as much as we can to neutralize our own sort of footprint, but we cannot do everything. So we focus on unavoidable emissions, and at the same time, this is a problem we need to fix. So it's something that we need to focus on either way. Even if companies are still polluting in the world, we need to find a solution for how to remove carbon from the atmosphere. But greenwashing is, it's a big problem, and it's not something we should support in any way. Rather, green transition and how we can actually, put our efforts towards the right initiatives instead.
And we actually got one more question, maybe in a couple of words. What is your business model looking like?
Yeah, Stephen, thank you for that question. And right now we're working with 2 different revenue streams. So one is that we are charging a fee on top of on some of the carbon removal services. We're working on removing or getting that fee as low as possible, and then rather work with also subscriptions for hosting certification and hosting verified overview of the initiative. So much more in a Trustpilot way. But right now it's a brokering platform, so we charge a fee on top of the removal services.
Thank you very much. There's at least one more question. Maybe you can answer that in the chat. later on, but due to the timing, we actually have to move on.
Yeah. Thank you so
Swobbee
much.
is actually hoping to resolve a problem that I have encountered many times using electric skateboard, and then suddenly the battery dies and there's no way to change it in the middle of the city, or I don't have any charging equipment with me. So Swobbee actually wants to allow battery swapping within cities. Ludwig, tell us more, please.
Yeah, thank you, Felix. So, hi everyone.
And you're on mute.
I'm on mute? Can't you hear me?
No, now I can hear you. Sorry. Yeah, we can hear you. Perfect.
Okay. Sorry. So, yeah, hi everyone. My name is Ludwig from Swobbee in Berlin. And I think you probably all noticed the current trend in the micromobility or mobility sector with the tremendously increasing numbers of light electric vehicles. But the main challenge of light electric vehicles is the availability of fully charged batteries. So this is actually the problem we with Swobbee want to tackle. We want to become the #1 gas station for e-micromobility. So, but how are we actually going to do this? So we provide a turnkey solution with our Swobbee station, battery swapping station, which you can see to the left. This station is 24/7 available. You can swap a battery in less than 1 minute, so it's fast, and you can swap it safe. And yeah, by now we have integrated 4 different batteries for different LEV types, light electric vehicle types. But in the end, we want to serve any kind of light electric vehicle, as we want to become the gas station for e-micromobility. But that's not the only thing we offer. So besides of the station, we have our own station and battery management software, which enables us to monitor each station and each battery separately. So we can track the charging status and the health status of the battery. Yeah, our software also includes our own app with which the customers can track the availability of fully charged batteries, and with which they can exchange the batteries. So, and the software connects all the stations we have deployed. So with this network, we want to create an energy network, and in the future we may provide grid services with this. But for whom are we actually doing this? So right now we're doing this for sharing providers and last mile delivery companies. But in the end, we want to do it for everyone, so for the B2C market. And what are we offering? So it's battery as a service. So each company and each individual subscribes to our network and can rent out batteries at each station. But we also provide charging as a service for stations, for fleet operators. So they can swap a battery in less than 1 minute instead of charging the light electric vehicles for a couple of hours, which increases their uptime tremendously. By now, we have deployed around 30 stations all across Europe. And for the upcoming international rollout, we are seeking for funding. So yeah, I'm happy to connect, and please shoot me a message if I sparked your interest.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Ludwig. We actually have the first questions coming in for Swobbee. The first one being, how do you manage the batteries to ensure there is not reduced performance of the batteries over their lifetime?
So with our battery management software, we ensure that they are constantly charged with a constant current. But they, for sure, like every battery, they decrease in capacity over the lifetime. So, were there other questions? Gilytics in Bangladesh. I do not know Gilytics in Bangladesh. No, but I'll have a look. Yeah, thank you. with the standardization of batteries. Yeah, by now there's no standard for batteries in the market, so we tackle mostly fleet customers because they have a large homogeneous battery population. But I think, or we think, that in the next 3 to 4 years there will be a consolidation in terms of battery types, so that we will stick with 4 to 5 different battery types in the end to serve any kind of vehicle.
Thank you very much, Ludwig. I mean, you were so proactive, directly reading everything out. My job
sorry,
is done.
yeah.
No, that's great. That's fantastic. That makes it a lot easier for me. Thank you very much. Next would be from Estonia, Roofit.solar, Andres. And for me, it's like the idea of combining directly the roofing with the installation of solar is a huge dream, because we have so much unused roof space, and if that could be managed easily together and at the same time reduce my cost, that would be amazing. And the only question is that a dream, or is that becoming reality? Andreas, please convince us that this is becoming reality.
Yes, hello everyone, happy to be here. It will be a reality, you will see it soon. We see it already here in Estonia. Yes, I am Andres, and I'm how I call myself, a solarholic. So I do everything in solar at my home, at my work, so this is my life. And before really going into this one slide, I would like to ask a question from you, who is visible to me. So please raise hand. Those people who think smoking indoors is a bit strange thing to do. Yeah, coming up, yeah. I thought so. And actually it wasn't like that 10 years ago. It wasn't absolutely like that. People were smoking indoors. But we think building a house in 10 years time from now without adding any solar on it is really, really strange as well. So building a house with a stupid roof, I wouldn't understand it, actually, at least in 10 years from now. And I can see it already actually happening today, because if your neighbor has solar, I want to have solar, and so it spreads. I have a second question to you. I think you have heard about European Union Green Deal, which basically is targeting having a climate neutral Europe by 2050. Do you have any idea how many buildings need energy renovation to achieve that goal? I will show you. I have one more slide. 250 million houses need energy renovation, and otherwise the goal is not achievable. And in order to put it even into a better perspective, this is 23,000 homes every single day from now until 2050. So the market is just massive, and we can feel it in our small Estonia, where we have sold more than 100 roofs this year alone. And so we have a market, we have a customer, and I think what we have is a great product. What we do is actually very, very simple. We take the conventional roofing material, which is already on the market, and we put the solar element on top of that. And what it makes, obviously it makes the roof look normal. It looks like a regular roof. But it also has a benefit of cost, because we don't need any mounting accessories, what the regular solar panel requires. So we save on material. And as we do 2 installations in one time, we save the labor cost as well. And this is always a more and more important cost element in the solar installation. So we are now ready for not expansion, but for explosion. And that's why we have opened up our Series A funding round just in September. And we would be happy to talk with you with a multi-page pitch deck when you reach out to me. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Andres. For the first question, how much are you actually raising?
We are raising at the moment 6 million euros. a Series A fundraising, and our current investors actually will cover, I would say, at least 20-25% of it already. So we are looking for the missing 4 or 5 million.
Okay, thank you very much. First question from the audience is about the unit cost per square meter of the roof tiles. Can you share?
Actually, what I can say, I can always easy to compare with the Tesla glass roof. We are about 2.5 times cheaper than what Tesla is offering. And we are, at the moment already, we are on the same level. If somebody would build a new roof and put additional solar panel on top of that, we can beat that price already today. And with our next investment round, we have a plan actually how to reduce the product cost by around 40% even. So we can compete with regular solar panel easily.
And when you mentioned that the Tesla tiles, about the efficiency, are you as efficient? How much energy are you producing per square meter? Of course, depending on the inclination and whereabout, but on average, like what's the kilowatt peak?
It's 150 watts per square meter, and Tesla glass roof is 135. So we are a bit better than Tesla.
Okay, thank you very much. And for the further questions, please, Andreas, refer to the chat so that those questions will also be answered. Now, I read that we have a little change in the order of the companies presenting, and we switched to BeON. Rui, I can see you, and BeON will allow everyone to produce their own energy. Rui, please tell us how you want to achieve this.
Yes, so our goal is that every person in the world will have at least one solar panel to offset their carbon footprint and to participate in the energy transition. It's very difficult for them to do right now. It takes a lot of money to just get in. And we would like to connect actually this power of the people, connect all these people together in a community. So we offer actually a complete ecosystem of solutions to harness this prosumer power. And it ranges from the solar kit and actually a solar inverter that can safely turn any solar panel into a home appliance that you can plug into a solar socket, but instead of taking energy out, you put energy in to power your house and every house appliance you have, to then solutions that monitor the energy, automate all kinds of functions that you can do with that energy, and in fact use demand response with to interact with the utility companies. And then we have apps and dashboards to visualize this energy flow, to and actually to automate several functions. So you can choose automated functions such as storing energy either in your e-vehicle, in your hot water, and take advantages from your demand response capabilities, and to monetize on your solar panels. And furthermore, we can also create energy communities through the app and create energy transactions between energy communities and allow utility partners to monetize on their customer base and engage with them and partner with them. So it's a win-win where everybody profits, including their end customers, through the app by taking a share of every energy transaction they make through our platform for the excess energy they generate from our solar kits. So from single solar panel balconies or panels in your garden that you can do in 15 minutes. And now it's very trendy with the COVID. We are sending thousands of kits, and we have now over 100,000 of these systems installed in different countries, 99% through utility partners actually. And people can do it by themselves in 15 minutes, then get connected through our dashboard and apps and get connected to their utility and create an energy community. So it's a mass prosumer engagement platform and ecosystem that I think and every day is proving to be what the future of energy will be. And I think our main competitor will actually be Tesla. We are more advanced probably in the energy community part. They're of course much more advanced in the customer base part and capital. And in that sense, we are looking for a capital partner that will allow us to compete with them in the next 5 to 10 years. And we can provide a very unique alternative, more oriented for the mass market and for the people, and not just for people that have 100,000 euros in the bank. So I think we have a big potential in this front.
Thank you very much, Rui. And for the first question already coming in, do you offer optimization or storage solutions? For instance, imagine charging an EV vehicle overnight.
Yes, we do. So our IoT system that we developed in-house, a complete IoT platform, as well as monitoring solutions, also automate charging of e-vehicles or using hot water boilers to store energy. Because we have these storage solutions that already exist in every one of our homes, as well as the energy sharing community that allows you to share any excess energy that you have, we actually don't need 5,000 euro batteries. It's totally useless, actually. So with using a very smart solution, we can very easily manage every excess energy that could be, and we do store it, and people can use it and actually monetize on it. So, which is much better than just storing.
One question that always comes in mind when looking at these business models: how about regulations? In which markets are you available, and how do you work
basically,
with the regulations
as
that
long as
are?
yes, as long as you prevent that you inject energy into the grid, and we have in our IoT system can do that in partnership with our inverter, because we developed everything by ourselves, so we integrate all of them. So you can prevent that you inject any energy into the grid, you store all of it. So as long as you do that, you can install this system anywhere in the world. But fortunately, many countries are changing the regulation that you actually can plug solar panels into wall sockets. So most of the European markets, which is the biggest prosumer markets now in the world, I think US will be next, hopefully in 2 weeks' time. But they are already having regulations specifically saying, sure, plug away.
Well, thank you very much for that outlook, and I hope you are true about the regulation in the United States. Already heading into this direction to Canada, the next startup wants to convert every road, or allow every road to be converted into solar roads, so that all of us could be utilizing the sheer amount of concrete that is put on Earth. Michael, please explain us how you want to do that.
Okay, so you've already started me off that we're converting.
Michael?
So, thank you for your time. You already started me off. So we're converting roads into solar generating space without changing the initial thing. So how we do that is we have taken, as you can see in the center of the screen, a solar module, and we've hardened it through various trials and conditions. So it's amazing technology. You can withstand vehicle loads, it can withstand environmental pressure, and it's safe for pedestrians. And best of all, it produces power gen similar to a traditional solar module. So 70 to 80% of energy is produced, and the reduction is mostly due to the fact that it's on the ground. And I should note we have developments in the works designed to address this by utilizing three-dimensional structures and for strength and light trapping. But right now, our main focus is on sales of our flagship product, this hardened solar module. It's an integrated solution that combines infrastructure with solar power generation. So it solves a lot of different project issues over multiple industries. Some of the big ones are, for solar power generation, you can get energy from the sun without impinging on traditional land use. So as you know, most solar power generation consumes a lot of land, farmland, forest, and with our product, you don't have to do that. Then from the infrastructure side, we can change the model of roads and pathways from a sunk cost model to an active site. So as you know, that most roads, you literally throw money in the ground. With this one, you can actually turn it into energy producing or money producing site. Now, where we're getting the most traction in our thing is where our solar modules have extra advantage. Those are three: weather resilience. So our modules on the ground are really resilient against winds and hurricanes and storms, particularly important in, say, hurricane-prone areas of like the southern United States, which, if you look on the left side of the screen, that's one of our installations we just put there. Then, of course, it's very useful for distributed power, being low profile. It can almost be placed anywhere you have land without any particular structure. We are looking to partner with micro mobility solution providers for, say, e-bike charging solutions, and of course, straight up sustainability, where people look for green, sustainable power solutions for their, say, urban developments. Now, and of course, I should mention that we are looking for investments right now to accelerate our business model, looking to expand our sales pipeline, scale up our manufacturing, and continue development to maintain our technological advantage. So it's an emerging industry. It's growing really fast. So please come talk to me if you're interested or have any questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Michael. One question that was asked by the audience and also came on my mind is like, how do you work with dirt, with scratches on those solar roads?
Yeah, so this would be a bigger concern, or you expect this to be a bigger concern than it is. So we've been running trials since 2017, and there's been dirt, leaves, and other things, and they don't seem to really affect the energy production that much. It just becomes a reduction, but being flat on the ground, dirt tends to come there and blow away. Though I should note, our modules are also hardened against shading, so we have additional bypass diodes to really address shading. But dirt never seems to be an issue with us, because it's just there, but it's never really prevalent enough to actually block the solar because it's an active site.
Okay, thanks. And how does it go with maintenance? Like if the solar module needs to be replaced, or can you just skip one solar module in a complete connection? How does that work?
So our solar modules, aside from being mounted on the ground, are connected much like any other solar modules. We connect them in series, run them into say optimizers or inverters, depending on the customer's requirements. But more or less the solar system runs like any typical solar system that we see. We do have extra safety requirements where we try to keep the voltage low because people are actually interacting with this, but that is just a minor change compared to other solar systems.
Thanks. This I hope that this becomes true, and at one point all those roads around the world will be producing solar energy. Now we have been in Canada, so we might as well just stay in Canada and give Peter the floor. Peter is one of the founders of Carbon Upcycling Technologies, and what I really like about the thought is to make carbon, which we associate with negative terms at this very moment, into a sustainable resource. Peter, please.
Thank you for the opportunity here. I'd like to start with considering the challenges with climate action. You know, with energy transition wrapping up and the focus to decarbonize our actions, the cost of climate change and the urgency of it has never been higher. We consider the 1.5 degrees threshold as so urgently important because it changes our own destiny and our way of living. And I want to share with you today a bit of a journey about what is it that we could do today and how you could take action, whether if you're a enterprise customer or just a consumer. My name is Peter Zhu, and I lead the polymer engineering team at Carbon Upcycling Technologies. We've taken a broad supply chain approach to address the challenge of climate change by taking what's existing landfill materials that are garbage-like, and we use carbon dioxide to reinvigorate this material and turning it from a low-value product into a high-value nanomaterials that could be used across 11 different market segments. And we do that with our reactor that's shown in the slides. And 2 years after the formation of the company, we started generating steady revenue from the sales of infrastructure coating that uses our low carbon nano additives, making us one of the youngest carbon utilization companies to date. And so some of these products are used in Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, and Costco all around the United States. We're currently scaling up our 8 metric ton per day reactor. That's again the one shown in the slide, where it's able to help our collaborators in the concrete industry, such as Cemex and Burnco, to reduce their cost by 10%, reduce their carbon footprint by 20%, and have up to 35, if not higher, increase in performance. So that's meaningful to someone in a very conservative industry. And finally, highlighting some of our recent results on the polymer side, we just finished an acceleration program with Repsol in Spain and expanded the use of our carbon embedded materials to create plastic formulations that enriches everyday products, from food containers to automotive panels. We can directly embed carbon into it. Oh, you don't see the slide? Oh, I guess that'll just show up. And I'd just like to conclude, as one of the 10 finalists in the Global Carbon X Prize competition, we promise our customers, users, and collaborators a sustainable performance solution that we could easily drop into the supply chain today. And similarly to how Heather opened up this morning with the focus on decarbonization, I think if I come back to an individual consumer choice or an entire B2B consideration, is that whether you fancy a new coaster set in your home, or you envision a future where each spacecraft launch from planet Earth actually removes carbon from our planet, there's an opportunity to take action at every point in the supply chain. And so I'd like to just end with getting you to think about, consider the waste around you and how we could turn that to something that's meaningful. So we're always looking to speak with industry-specific collaborators, some of you which I'll reach out to. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Sorry for interrupting you, but
no worries.
You were already going on. Unfortunately, I think all startups here, they have so much more to tell, so just because of the time, but I'm sure that people will contact you after the chat. Just before we hit the first question, have you and Katja actually discussed potential ways to cooperate?
We will. I'm pretty sure we will.
All right, great. It would be great to see actually such an event also leading to cooperations. Then going to a question from the audience, what's the key difference, or what are the key differences between low value and high value carbon?
Yeah, Steven's the one today asking all the good questions. So if we think about the low value materials, let's say, for example, what's landfilled, that's just sitting there in our world, that's occupying space. And at some cases, that is considered direct waste because there might be some chemical issues with the materials. It doesn't meet the specification, for example, in the cement industry to be used in a building mix, for example. And with what we found through a number of different tests is that through our process, we can actually upcycle and repurpose, now all of a sudden bringing that material back to specification. And what that means is realizing from $0 to $70 a ton. Now, that's the size of the scale we're looking at. And of course, looking at repurposing something that's naturally a waste into something that's usable.
Thank you very much, Peter. And yeah, I'm looking forward to actually seeing Katja and you collaborate, and also to see actually carbon becoming a high value resource that will be used. So now this actually brings us to the last startup that will present today. Sorry for maybe having a distraction in the order. But coming back from Canada, going back to Germany, we would like to present you GreenPocket, Thomas. And actually the smart meter rollout, at least in Germany, I would say is a little bit of a difficult story, so to say. But Thomas can tell you what potential the smart meter rollout will actually have if it is finally succeeding, and what can be done with the data. Thomas, please.
Thanks, Felix. Can you hear me? Okay, excellent. So GreenPocket is 10 years now on the market, helping utilities to turn energy data from smart meters into value. So we've done a lot of projects through the last 10 years to support utilities of all kinds. That means meter operators, DSOs, and suppliers with smart meter data to bring really value to their customers. Why should they do this? So first of all, we do this with software because we deliver white label software for residential customers and corporate customers to their utilities, and help them to improve the customer relationship firsthand. So they get a better transparency on their energy consumption, they can better control their cost, and that helps a lot. But it's also a dialogue channel for the utilities to start or to improve the customer relationship with their customers. I think that is the main driver for sales reps from the utility side to work with this tool. And they got a lot of data, so we put more and more emphasis during our last years to analyze the data, to find certain structures in the data, and to identify software tools and to build software tools that really help them to create additional value. That means we come up with anomaly detection, for instance, or automatic load profile analysis. And I think that is important, that we automatically optimize the energy, the way our energy is consumed, by tips from the data we got. And we use not only the load profiles of the customers, but even more, we combine load profiles with other data, like weather data, building data, or network data from the DSO networks that helps to reduce, for instance, the cost of the network for their customers. And with this tool, with this help, utilities are able to offer new services, better consulting, better advice, and therefore improve their customer relationship. And we do this quite successful. Currently, we serve more than 30 utilities, not only in Germany, but I think clearly the core market experience we have is with German utilities, and they just start the rollout within this year.
Thank you, Thomas. Actually, leading to what you've just said, you're working with the various utilities. Now, as far as the market goes, it's not only GreenPocket that is out there. How do you guys actually differentiate between all the other companies that, at least on paper, have a similar offering?
If you look at the utilities, and if they decide on this kind of software tools, they don't do it by coincidence. So normally that is a strict process. You go through an RFP, RFI process, and they evaluate all these solutions. And there are 4 different stages. First of all, the software has to be easy to use and easy to understand, because it's an energy information product, so energy transparency. The next step is that they want to cover and see what kind of features you have. And we constantly improved our products. The third step is it's always an integration project, and you have a multiple buying center with many, many stakeholders. So you have not to convince only the product manager, the sales reps,
but you also have to bring the IT department on your side, the purchasing department. And we have a lot of experience for more than 140 projects within this track. And last but not least, you want to have a partnership that really helps you to use the data for better services, for better cross-selling, and that really differentiates us. So our average customer relationship duration is currently 4.8 years over all our 30 utilities we are working with. So it's not a one-time shot. So we really live with those utilities, even if the numbers of the meter points right now in our systems are still fairly low, but we have built up a great experience, and this really gives trust from the utilities to work with us in part of a partnership. And then you can build up, because the main challenge for utilities today is to move your commodity business in something that really added value to the customer relationship.
Thanks a lot, and maybe also to Stephen, who asked that question. You two can engage after this session in one of the breakout opportunities that are offered here during the conference. As we have a couple of minutes left, Tahar, do we have Heather's video? Can we show that, or?
Unfortunately, we weren't able to play the video via the slide that we received. What I would recommend is to get in touch directly with Heather, or Heather, if you can also feel free to post that on the events board, or contact me and we can discuss how to best share this with the audience.
Well, I'm sure that this minor technical issue will be resolved afterwards. And Heather, maybe you have it on YouTube or something like that you could share the link.
I can share the link in the chat. That's no problem. I'll do that now.
All right, cool. And of course, for those in the audience, please feel free to reach out to all of the startups that you found interesting. I understand that 3 minutes pitch and 2 minutes Q&A are really short and might only give you a flashlight about the opportunities those startups have. So yeah, please reach out, use this opportunity, and as far as I understood, most of those startups will be available for Q&As in the upcoming hours here within the DINA Set Awards. That would be from my side. Thank you very much for the audience, for the engagement, for the questions, and for Dana for hosting this event. And of course, is the main part which made it interesting to you, the startups, for the preparation you have put into your pitches. And yeah, I wish you all the very, very best for the upcoming month and also years. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing you in different events and following the tracks or the path that you will take. Thank you very much.